Hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah, it is. And the more cultures you put up there, the more diversity you add. Like, I don't know why I'm explaining it to box. Like, anybody who's listening to my voice right now, you don't really give a shit. You don't. You're in. You're in. You're just an abused housewife. Okay? You're going to your
But Lee,
That's the
if
truth.
Lee,
We're the
if
most
your
abused man.
theory, if your theory is correct about how many insiders are listening, maybe it's time that we start changing from the inside out. And then that's what I want to
By
bring
the
up
way,
of
that's not a theory.
why as reporters, we need to start finding out
No, and that's the
why the
fucked up
fans
part.
aren't tuning in. I
Okay,
want to know why
wait,
the
I'll tell you.
diehards
I'm
aren't
gonna
tuning
tell you
in.
why, and you already know this because you've seen the treatment to me.
I
You
was going to tell
cannot
you, but
speak
go
your
ahead.
mind in a public forum because you will see repercussion and you will have credentials pulled. That's the truth. The bait is they're gonna let you go.
Well, then we need reporter. Maybe
When
I
was
don't.
the last time you
We need
really?
guys that aren't scared of that, then Lee, because that's not a reason. If you're still pushing good numbers for the promoters, sometimes look at all publicity is good, right? That's what they always say. That's the old saying. I don't think they're going to get too mad about
I can.
people,
Oh,
someone
oh,
trying to find out why viewership and fans are down.
wait, I'll make this abundantly clear, and this is an actual fact
I can't
about.
hear you.
Well, I don't know why
You
that.
need to move, bro.
Do I need to? No, I don't. You sound great. Okay, so to your point, Andrew. All right. I can tell you safely that Fight Net Radio helped sell out an MMA event because of the power of our show.
Good.
A couple of weeks ago, it helped move tickets in a smaller event. I'm telling you, while I'm sitting there, when I stick my name out there and I'm telling people who follow us in the groups, hey, go get these $10 tickets, go get these $15 tickets, go swoop up these $150 tickets. I'm telling you, it puts me in a position, right, where I am afraid to say anything but positive because I know that the people who put that event on are now looking directly at our product.
Got you.
And if you don't believe that happens, like, who's the exception to the rule? Like, I've seen what Steve Kim's watered down. Steve Kim used to be singularly the most outspoken person, but I think he's big enough that he can still get away with it. I haven't seen Kevin Iole write a scathing piece in forever. Okay. And the biggest writer in our sport, okay, literally and figuratively, right? Right?
Yep.
He is. There's no doubt. The biggest writer by far, right? A man who has never fought in his entire life, near as I could tell. All he's ever done is pick up a fork and eat his way
Lee,
into obesity.
we have an issue though.
When is the last time he actually wrote anything that was out on a limb?
We've never really had a year like what we're having right now. Even Saul Alvarez is not a mainstream superstar when you think of the fighters of the past. When you think of Roy Jones, you think of Oscar De La Hoya, Felix Trinidad. These people,
No, because they're not creating superstars.
these
They're
people
not.
used to sell out arenas in minutes. They used to do millions of views on HBO. The fighters right now, you look at, you can say internationally the sport's doing great. That's lovely. We always have that to fall back on, right? We're now like soccer, right? We're a world sport. We're not just an American sport. But screw that. For the American fight fans, this is sad. It's really sad that Andre Ward versus Kovalev, something that I thought that the diehards alone should have brought in at least 300,000 buys. Are you kidding me? We don't have 300,000 in how many 3 billion that wanted to pay $70 to watch Andre Ward? Think about that. Don't tell me that if only 160 bought, don't tell me 240 were on the internet that day. I don't believe it. Because you know what? Behind boxing, there used to be family gatherings, friends coming together, parties, barbecues. There used to be a lot more to the sport of boxing than just a guy paying $70 and watching it by himself. I don't understand how these numbers were so low. It didn't sell out. That was the Super Bowl. It didn't sell out at Vegas. 13,000 is a great number, but we don't know how many were comped, and it wasn't a sellout.
It wasn't a sellout.
We need to find out why. Listen, one thing I'm going to say, and I know I'm going to go out and probably get a lot of hate, and I'm
No,
a
don't worry.
savage,
They'll
right?
say
But I'm going to tell
no.
you the quality
I'll
of
get there.
fight that these fighters are trying to entertain us with nowadays is not living up to it, gentlemen. I'm serious. When your fucking best punch is a fucking jab, we're supposed to get off our seats because you popped them in the face one time? There is a problem. Back in the day, we never had this in our sport. When Leonard fought Hagler or Hearns or Duran, whatever matchup you want to take from the 80s, go watch the tape. Nobody's talking about, well, that was a great 1-2 that Leonard landed at the end, and I think he won that round because of that one punch. Yeah, that one punch. Hagler beat up Hearns on that one punch. No, these men used to give it to us. They would give us everything. That's why we gave them millions. That's why Sugar Ray Leonard was making $27 million in 1980, and Duran was making $14 million in 1980. This is not new to our sport. Tommy Hearns blew through like 40-something million dollars in the 80s. The quality of fight is not as good as it used to be. I'm that old guy now. I literally am. These fighters don't live up to what it used to be. Anybody in the past, any legend in the past would have a cakewalk in today's divisions.
Yes, but they would also be instructed by their handlers.
No, they wouldn't.
And their
I'm
managers.
talking about the same team. I'm talking about the same legend team. You bring them to this day and age, it's a fucking cakewalk.
I agree, but they would be advised, and HBO wouldn't let it happen.
Somebody, I don't know if it's an look it. You can say last 2 Saturdays ago was a damn protest boxing. You really can say we protested Ward Kovalev because you know what? We just ain't getting the cards and the fights that we want anymore. So it was either a protest or they just don't give a damn, people. 160 for what I was telling everyone's the greatest fight of the year?
I agree. Well, I'll go a step further. How do you hold a fighting event in Vegas on the same night as Ward Kovalev, and that event sells out and you can't sell out Ward Kovalev?
Lee,
amateur MMA gets a sellout, and Kovalev Ward doesn't.
MMA is on another level right now. Look at, they have a fan base that loves that sport. They back that sport on whoever's fighting.
No, and it's because they feed it correctly.
Whatever it is, Lee, they got it going. We're not the MMA right now. We really aren't.
Well, again, you didn't read my article that explains in detail how it was done.
However, hey, I don't need to read an article to know how the MMA is doing it, okay? I really don't. I'm not an MMA fan, okay? But I know what they have their thing going right now. I'm not hating on them guys, okay? They're definitely pushing numbers that we don't see anymore. We really don't.
Do you remember? Okay, because we used to do shows where we'd laugh at the UFC pulling 500,000 buys with Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
500,000. Oh, what's the big deal?
I know. We had Cotto, Pacquiao, Mayweather. I know.
And then he got them all the way up to 1 million. Oh, that's the biggest they'll ever do. You know what? Now they do it month in and month out.
I know.
Okay, and I'm telling you,
they have Lee. They have guys that have like 7 losses, 9. Nobody cares. They still sell out arenas. The pay-per-views because the best fight the best. They're not scared to lay it on the freaking line. Ain't nobody talking about, that was the jab of the night.
I'll give you a perfect example in MMA right now. What are we going to do? Conor doesn't want to fight anymore. Okay, take the belts. Start over. There's another Conor. There's another Ronda.
Yes.
There's another Nate and Nick Diaz. There's another one out there. There's another guy who's going to talk shit.
Keep rolling.
They'll always keep rolling. They said they'd never survive after Chuck Liddell and Randy Couture and GSP.
The same with boxing.
Nope. Same with boxing. We'll never survive Hearns. We'll never survive Hagler. We'll never survive Sugar Ray Leonard. They'll never survive Muhammad. There'll never be another Muhammad Ali. Yeah. Well, in this day and age, I'm starting to believe, because it's so watered down in boxing, there's so much parity, And we're seeing it in the NFL too, right? How many fucking 6-6 teams are there in the fucking NFL?
Yeah.
What is it, 5-6?
Yep.
Yeah, that's because we're all at the same level right now. So the guys who actually invested last year and spent their money wisely are right at the top. And who are they? Dallas and the fucking Raiders. Why? They opened up their wallet. They invested in draft picks. They did it right. Now there are 3 teams at the top. There's New England, there's the Raiders, and there's Dallas. Why? They spent their money well. They got the best players they could possibly get for each position because they wanted to win. You know what everybody else wants to do? They just want to make it to the playoffs. That's the truth. They just want to get to the playoffs. Look at the AFC West. That is an entire division of teams clawing to win a Super Bowl. Every other division in the AFC, okay, it's just average. It's just average. You're telling me I'm going to watch, like, even I am going to be hard-pressed to watch a Cleveland versus my team game. I'm a fan, but I'm not going to watch. Look, I already know the outcome. I'll do something else that day. I mean, why would I waste my time if I was a Cleveland? Like, how does Cleveland exist? Okay, and we're seeing the exact same thing in boxing. You're giving me nothing.
Listen,
so when the big matchup actually happens, and it's going to happen this year in the NFL, and it's going to scare the shit out of the NFL, this year's NFL Super Bowl is going to have the lowest ratings possible. You know why? Because the viewership this year has been down. You know why? Because the Sunday night games, they've all been great. They have. They've had 4 overtime games. You can't ask for more. You can't ask for more in the NFL, yet their numbers are down. Why is it? Because there's so many fucking average games. There's still 32 teams in that league, okay? And if 20 of them are fucking average, we're not going to watch those games. You're asking me to spend $100 on a ticket to go to a football game. You want me to go see Miami for $100? It's an average team. It is. Oh, look out. Cleveland's coming to town. What do you want me to do? And you can see it. By the way, Chargers are in the hunt, and their entire club level is empty. 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 They can't. Well, we have moving issues. Okay? We have moving issues. I admit that. But the lower section? Why are tickets on Groupon? Why? You know what I'm waiting for in boxing? I'm waiting for the first boxing event to be on Groupon. I'm waiting for it. I'm telling you, it's gonna fucking happen.
It should have already happened. That doesn't seem like a bad idea. Look it. There's a few ideas that need to be made here. One, HBO needs to fire the head of sports, whoever's calling the shots on the fights. He doesn't know what he's doing. The fights aren't good. The quality of fights we're paying for this network, and they're not responding with one. They're not giving us fights on a common base, on a common grounds, or what am I missing there, Lee? Frequently. They're not giving us our fights, right? Then when they do, we're getting shitty-ass fights like Terrence Crawford versus John Molina. I don't want to see that. Who approved that fight? Think about that. I don't pay to watch that. I don't pay to watch Amir Khan fight fucking Canelo. Stop it. I don't pay to watch Triple G fight Cal Brook. I don't give a damn that they were both undefeated. Anyone with a boxing IQ knew Cal Brook did not belong in the fucking ring with Triple G. You're an idiot if you ever thought that. And for you people that think Cal Brook looked good, you're twice as stupid because he fucking didn't even last 5 rounds. A championship fight is 12. This is the stupidness that allows these people to get away with this shit. Didn't work on Kovalev Ward, though, did it?
Well, let's jump to this weekend. Same exact situation. Okay.
Oh, this pussy. You talking about last Saturday? I shouldn't say that. Listen, I'm not going to say that. But this, yes, Lee, exactly the problem. Go ahead. I won't say pussy. I take that back, though. I won't. That's not. I didn't mean that. Go ahead, Lee.
A guy who has, 7 fights? Pro fights?
Yes.
Now, I understand he's been fighting as an amateur for 20 years.
Right.
I get that.
Irrelevant.
He's got 7 pro fights. And he made a guy who was a quote-unquote champion, who was quote-unquote just that as good as the guy he was getting into the ring with, in Nicholas Walters, right?
Yes.
First of all, they had to hold it at the Chelsea